Hey everybody, this is Dr. Joe Borio with Change Your Health, Change Your Life. And I wanted to share with you a moment I had today. I was watching the news, and normally a lot of times I like to go over kind of a clip or an article or some research that I've maybe read recently about healthcare and how to look at it. But today I was watching the news, and when I'm sitting there watching the news, they had a commercial. And during this commercial, they had a Febreze commercial. And they had this woman, and she was spraying Febreze all over the house and talking about how clean and fresh everything smelled, and therefore everything must be clean and fresh. So she's spraying it in her house, and she's spraying it on the mud room, and in the car, and in the boat. And I just thought for a few moments how true that was in how we handle our health care, and how unfortunate that viewpoint was. That commercial really depicted how sick and disconnected we are in our healthcare. And that, what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, she's got a sewage leak in the house, or the timbers are rotting in the house, and there's mildew or moisture coming in the house. You know, if you spray the Febreze on it, it smells good, and it smells clean and fresh. And not only to mention the chemicals that you're breathing in, which are most likely toxic, but that being said, is the house clean and fresh? No, it smells clean and fresh. So then they have her husband laying down and they're playing charades, and he doesn't want to get up from doing the charades because he's smelling the carpet and it smells clean and fresh. And, you know, I started to laugh because I realized that that's how we handle our health care. You know, we put things in our body. You know, if my cholesterol's high, my blood pressure's high, I've got heart problems or breathing problems or whatever, you know, we start swallowing down pills like we're spraying Febreze, and that means that everything's okay, when it's not. It's not okay. You know, we worry about our hair and our skin and our teeth and our fingernails, and we want everything to look nice and pretty. But in reality, what it means is we're not any healthier. We haven't solved any problem. We just sprayed some Febreze on it, you know, so the body smells better and it looks better. But in reality, the inside is just as sick, if not sicker, and it's only going to get sicker because I've never gotten at the cause of the problem. I've got rotten sewage inside me, if you will. My body's getting sicker. My flesh is starting to die within me, and my body's doing everything that it can in order to make it healthy, but we're not taking any better care of ourselves other than swallowing down some pills as if that's going to take care of the problem. Or we're going to the dentist and making sure we got veneers and our teeth all look beautiful, but in reality, my heart's getting sicker, my liver's getting sicker, my gallbladder, my intestines. I'm moving closer to death than I am to life. I'm moving closer to sickness than I am to health. And that's the reality. I think what we've lost sight of is that health is already inside you. Your body is intended to be healthy. It's always striving to be healthy. Your body's doing everything it can in order to be healthy. And that most of the time, and I'm not talking about the rare instances where there's a genetic problem, you know, where some child is born with something, or some family has some genetic rare alteration in their genetic makeup. But I'm talking about the 98% of the population, where what we forget is that the children of today are not expected to live as long as their parents. And that's the first time ever. We have children dying from all different types of diseases when they're young, allergies and asthma. We've got all different types of cancers, all different kinds of diseases that we're affected with or afflicted with that never existed before. And we've got all kinds of new drugs that are out there to treat all these things that never were around before, yet we're getting sicker and sicker. And the reason we're getting sicker is not from a lack of medical attention, or not from a lack of drugs, or not from a lack of really intelligent, smart people in the medical field trying to help us. That's not why we're getting sicker. Why we're getting sicker is we've lost our way. We're trying to spray everything with Febreze. We forget that the body works under laws and principles, and unless you honor the law and principle, the body won't work well. I mean, nobody would put diesel fuel in a car and expect it to work properly, yet we put the most horrific things within our body, and then we expect it to work okay. And if it doesn't work okay, then we're swallowing down antacids, or we're swallowing down some other pills to take care of those things so I can continue putting diesel fuel in a gasoline car. And that's one of many examples. You know, we're trying to treat cholesterol, but then we see studies that cholesterol drugs are killing more people than they're helping. We see people taking baby aspirin. We're starting to see baby aspirin is causing a lot more problems than it's trying to solve. We see people taking asthma drugs, and we realize that 80% of the people that die from asthma, it's not from asthma, it's from the drug treatment. And I could go on all day. So the reality is you can't keep spraying Febreze on it, thinking that just because it smells clean and fresh, that it's clean and fresh. The reality is all you're doing is masking or covering up a body that's moving closer to sickness and disease. You're covering up a body that's starting to become dead and rotten flesh. And I know that sounds sick and awful, but that's the reality of it. Cells start to die, and if I take a piece of meat or hamburger, throw it up on the counter, over a period of time, it's going to start to rot. And that's what happens to us inside. We start moving closer to death in certain parts of our body, and those body parts start to rot. They start to become sick and diseased. So the reality is you have to follow some of the laws. What are our laws? You have to drink water regularly, fresh, clean water, properly filtered water. And that's on a regular basis. Now you got to filter because you got so many chemicals in it. A lot of the local municipal water supply, you know, guess what they have in the water supply? They have pharmaceutical drugs in the water because of sewer treatments and so forth. So that's number one. You got to have properly filtered, clean water. You got to eat living food. You can't eat dead flesh. You can't eat dead food all the time. I mean, it doesn't mean never, but you got to, on a regular basis, eat some living food, tomatoes and bananas and apples and grapes and strawberries and so forth. You have to get a good night's sleep. Sleep is critical. You got to talk to yourself properly up inside of here. You know, what you're saying to yourself, your thoughts are real. They manifest a reality. And if you're talking negative, bad things to yourself, bad things often happen in your life. So, you know, worrying is what they call you're focusing on building up ideas to make bad things happen. And that's just not the right way to do it. You want to focus on positive things. You want to try to focus on goals. You want to try to focus on good things in your life. And as a chiropractor, everyone should be very concerned, vitally concerned about their nervous supply. Your brain talks to your body talks to your brain, and there's a constant flow of nerve information. These mental messages, these signals are critical for proper body function. And if your spine is even slightly out of alignment, what it does is it presses on nerves, and the body gets sicker and more diseased much more rapidly. So those are the keys. Those are the laws. Those are principles. Those aren't rules. Those are things that can't be broken. And if you don't follow those rules, your body will get sicker. Remember, if a plant's sick, you know, you're going to give it water, sunlight, nutrition, and you're not going to spray toxins on it. You know, you can't give it water, sunlight, nutrition, and put toxins on it. And at the same time, you can't give it water and sunlight, but no nutrition. Or you can't give it nutrition and water, but no sunlight. I mean, it's going to die. So the reality is those are laws. And we have to understand that those are the key components in order to keep you healthy. I know I'm rambling. I'm focused. I'm passionate. I want you people all to learn how to live a healthier life, to have better quality in your life. I want you to understand that it's not just the number of years you live, but it's a life within those years. And there's way too much sickness and disease. The human species is the sickest species on the planet. And unless we make changes, nothing's going to change. In fact, unless we make changes, things are just going to get worse. So hopefully I'm not falling on deaf ears. Hopefully my sermon is something maybe you've heard before, but maybe it finally strikes a chord. Maybe it rings true for you today. Guys, this has been Dr. Joe Borio with this week's Change Your Health, Change Your Life. Have a great week with your family. Certainly love and learn and spend some time with loved ones and make your life a good quality life and certainly make a life where you get to help other people live a little bit less pain in their life. Have a great week, guys. I'll talk to you next week.